got what you were after, so pay up.
You're crying in the rain, Pally.
Guess who's waking up over here?
Look, I'm sure there's some other way we can settle this.
Time to cash out.
Will you get it over with?
Maybe cons kill people without looking them in the face. But I ain't a fink. Dig?
Come on.
You've made your last delivery, kid. Sorry you got twisted up in this scene.
Look, don't do this. Come on.
From where you're kneeling must seem like an 18-carat run of bad luck. Truth
No!
is,
No! No!
the game was rigged from the start.
We wake up not long after in an unfamiliar location.
You're awake. How about that?
We're greeted by a man who seems to be the one who revived us from the dead.
Whoa, easy there, easy. You've been out cold a couple of days now. Why don't you just relax a second? Get your bearings. Let's see what the damage is. How about your name? Can you tell me your name?
For the sake of sparing you from useless information and boredom, I will be fast-forwarding past the unimportant parts of the intro.
You should talk to Sunny Smiles before you leave town. She can help you learn to fend for yourself in the desert. She'll likely be at the saloon. I reckon some of the other folks at the saloon might be able to help you out too. And the metal fella, Victor, who pulled you out of your grave. Anyway, you ever get hurt out there, you come right back. I'll fix you up. But try not to get killed anymore.
Before leaving, we can ask Doc Mitchell a few questions.
I expect you'll be wanting to go outside after being cooped up for so long, but if you have any questions, I'll answer what I can.
I'm hurt. I need help, Doc.
I don't see nothing wrong with you.
Could you spare some medical supplies?
Sure.
We see he has a decent inventory filled with medical supplies. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I already told you I came from a vault. After that, I was a traveling doctor for a spell. It seemed like a good idea at the time. Most folks out here ain't educated, so people with medical know-how are hard to come by. I found that I could help a lot of people with what I knew, and that was all right with me. Eventually, I went back and married my childhood sweetheart, and that was the end of my traveling days. Didn't miss it none then. Still don't.
You know, you said before you had something taken from you. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, ain't we all, right? That was a long time ago. I don't pay it much mind anymore.
After this, we can pass a 30 speech check to get some medical material from him.
Of course. You've been through a lot. Ain't much, but these'll do you right if the pain flares up.
Thank you, Doc. But anyways, what town is this?
This here's Goodsprings, named after the water we got here, just down the road to the southeast. Goodsprings Source, they call it. It's a quiet town, and that's how we like it. We don't go looking for trouble, though occasionally it sees fit to come looking for us.
Huh. What else can you tell me about Goodsprings?
Well, there's a general store just up the road, run by a fella named Chet. He don't got nothing fancy, but he's got your basics covered. If you're looking to wet your whistle, just past Chet's is the Prospector Saloon. The bartender there, Trudy, knows everyone in town. Other than that, there's not much to see. Just people trying to scratch out a living.
Who rescued me?
That'd be Victor. Curious fella. He's sort of odd, and I don't just mean 'cause he's a robot. I couldn't tell you much about him. He's real friendly, don't get me wrong. You just get the sense that that ain't the whole picture. Just a feeling. He keeps to himself, mostly. You want to know more about him, you'll have to ask him yourself. He has a shack on the southern edge of town.
Do you know anything about the man that shot me, perhaps?
I didn't see him or the men with him. You might ask around town, though. Could be someone saw which way they was headed. Your best bet would probably be Trudy, the bartender at the saloon up the road. If anyone saw anything, she'd know about it.
Sounds like we need to talk to Trudy. Goodbye.
You take care now.
After inquiring with him, we can take a look around his house. It's fairly small, but heading north into a room, we retrace our steps back to where we woke up, where we find a bed and some minor surgical equipment. Looking east, we see 2 shelves with some minor loot, including a laser pistol, some ammo, and a couple chems. On another shelf next to a surgical table, we find a blood pack and some Med-X. Heading behind that, we find a chemistry set where we can craft chems if our science is 25 or higher. Next to that, we find a broken 9mm submachine gun. My repair skill isn't high enough for it right now, but I'll come back. Heading into the next room, we see a fairly beaten up interior. It seems to be in better condition than it could be. Heading southeast, we find an empty footlocker and a couple pre-war antiques. From there, we can head south and find an empty footlocker. We also find a knife and 2 first aid boxes containing some chems. Continuing in the hallway, we take a left into Doc Mitchell's room. We don't find much here. We can actually open a dresser to find some minor loot. Heading back into the hallway, we take the furthest right and find some minor loot here, including a pressure cooker, which we'll need for a quest sometime down the road. Heading over to the refrigerator, we can open it and see that there are a couple minor food items. These are certain to help us on our travels. Nothing much of interest, so let's go to the next room. Behind opening a door, we find a bathroom with some Abraxo cleaner on the floor, but nothing major. I think we've explored the entirety of his house. Taking this pre-war hat, we're ready to set off into the wasteland. Heading through the door, we get a spectacular glimpse of Goodsprings and the surrounding Mojave wasteland, but we have much to do, so I won't admire for too long. Heading down a hill east, I see a robot walking by and I assume that's the Victor Doc Mitchell was talking about.
Howdy, partner. Might I say you're looking fit as a fiddle?
Thanks for digging me out of that grave, Victor.
Don't mention it. I'm always ready to lend a helping hand to a stranger in need.
So, how did you happen to find me anyways?
I was out for a stroll that night when I heard the commotion up the old bone orchard. Saw what looked like a bunch of bad eggs, so I laid low. Once they'd run off, I dug you up to see if you were still kicking. Turns out you were. So I hauled you off to the dock right quick.
Do you know who those men were that attacked me, Victor?
Can't say that I'm familiar with the rascals. Some of the fine folks in town might be able to help you out with that.
Huh. How did you end up in Goodsprings?
I moseyed into town, 10, 15 years ago. Before that, I can't quite seem to recall. Odd. Anyway, it's a right peaceful town, and I reckon it's as fine a place to settle as any.
I've never seen a robot like you before.
I'm a Securitron. Robco Security Model 2060B. If you ever see any of my brothers, tell them Victor says howdy.
Extending all of our dialogue with him, we can finally say goodbye.
Happy trails!
From there, I figured the best idea would be to head to the saloon and find out what's going on in town. I was heading inside when I noticed a man sitting down. Hi.
Howdy. What can Easy Pete do for you?
Who attacked me?
The one in the fancy suit seemed to be calling the shots. That's as much as I know. Other folks in town might know more. Word of advice, though. If you ever catch up with him, watch out. The man's got cold eyes like a snake. Can't be trusted, I'd say.
Why are you called Easy Pete?
Was a prospector until I decided to settle here to get away from the NCR. Now, we'll just take it easy and help out with the Brahmin and Bighorners.
You were a prospector, like digging for gold and silver?
Nah. Means I poked through old buildings looking for working tech and such. Some folks just call it salvaging, but never liked the term.
Uh-huh.
Way I see it, salvage means it's broken, near worthless. Me, I look for the good stuff. Guns, chems, spare parts. Good money in it.
Well, did you ever find anything good while you were prospecting?
Nope. Had a pretty good claim once, way out east by the river, but got run off by raiders. Eventually got too old to keep going out.
Well, what's wrong with the NCR?
Don't get me wrong. The NCR's got a lot of decent folk in it. It's just that they make you part of them whether you like it or not. Towns like Goodsprings and Prim don't stay independent for long. Not if you've got something the NCR wants. Still, the NCR keeps the Legion away.
Okay, what do you know about the Legion then?
They're slavers, led by a guy named Caesar, or Caesar. Not sure how you're supposed to say it. A couple of years ago, they tried to take over Hoover Dam, but the NCR beat them back. The NCR didn't or couldn't finish the job, though. The Legion's got its strength back and is getting ready for another round at the dam. My money's still on the NCR winning, but you never know. We've been hearing stories about legionaries on the Nevada side of the river, so keep a gun handy. You don't want to get caught by them.
I'll keep that in mind, but what's so important about Hoover Dam anyways?
The dam powers a lot of New Vegas, and then there's all that clean water lying in Lake Mead, too. Anybody who owns the dam owns the territory.
Interesting. What do you use the bighorners for?
Meat and hide, mostly. Can't put a pack on them. You just lay down until you take it off. Can find a bunch of wild ones high up in the hills, but gotta be careful around them. They can put up a decent fight if cornered.
Do you know anything about Victor the robot?
The machine? Harmless, no matter what Trudy says. She thinks it's hiding something, but I think it's just a broken-down relic with no place to be.
We find out that Trudy doesn't trust Victor. Goodbye.
Keep your gun handy if you go poking around some of the abandoned places around here, like the schoolhouse. Critters move in there sometimes.
Schoolhouse, huh? I'll have to explore that in another video.
Cheyenne, stay. Don't worry, she won't bite unless I tell her to.
This is Sunny Smiles. Doc Mitchell said he could teach me to survive in the desert.
Yeah, I guess there's a thing or two I could show you. Sounds like you need all the help you can get after what they done to you. Meet me outside, behind the saloon. Now,
heading outside, she gives us a varmint rifle and teaches us how to shoot our gun correctly. For the sake of the video, I will be skipping the tutorial. Heading back inside, we walk in and witness an argument between Trudy and someone else.
I'm done being nice. If you don't hand Ringo over soon, I'm going to get my friends and we're burning this town to the ground. Got it?
We'll keep that in mind. Now, if you're not going to buy something, get out.
I tried to catch up to the man she was talking to, but he ran away too fast and out the door. Next, I turned off the jukebox so I could introduce myself to Trudy. Hi.
Feeling thirsty? I can take care of that.
Who was that guy you were arguing with?
He's a convict, just without the chains. Said his name was Cobb. Powder gangers is what they call themselves. Plenty more like him out there.
Well, I'm trying to track down the people who attacked me. Do you know anything about them?
Not much, other than they're a bunch of freeloaders who expected a few rounds on the house. I was able to get them to pay up, though. Of course, one of the great cons did knock my radio to the floor, by accident, and it hasn't been working since.
Well, did my attackers say where they were going?
They were having some kind of argument about it, but the guy in the checkered coat kept shushing them. Sounded like they came in from the north through Quarry Junction. If that's the case, I can't say I blame them for not wanting to go back.
Why is that?
That whole area is overrun with the kind of critters that just get mad if you shoot them. Merchants avoid that whole stretch of I-15 like it's radioactive, which it could be for all I know.
So where were they headed?
I didn't hear exactly, but the leader was talking about the strip. Fellow wants to get there and avoid the 15, he'd have to go east. Take Highway 93 up.
We can talk to her more. So I'm gonna ask her, do you know that robot that rescued me, Victor?
I know that thing as much as anyone else around here. It mostly keeps to itself, which is just fine by me.
It? You don't like him, do you?
It acts friendly enough, but I don't trust that whole cheerful cowboy act. I find it all very creepy.
Well, you're not wrong, but what does he actually do here?
Other than rolling around once in a while, it doesn't do anything useful as far as I can tell. I don't know why it took an interest in you, but I'd be careful. It's never helped anyone before.
How long has Victor been in Goodsprings?
It was here when I took over the saloon 7 years ago. Some people have said its owner lived here, but no one knows who it was.
Never mind. Let's talk about something else.
Fine by me.
Does Goodsprings ever get visitors?
Mostly traders looking to buy bighorn meat and hides. The traders are the main reason the general store manages to stay in business. Most travelers heading south on the I-15 just push on towards Prim, unless they're in desperate need of supplies.
I've heard about the war. What else is going on in the wasteland? I want to know.
There's always something interesting going on. But the biggest news has to be the come and dust up between the NCR and the Legion over the dam.
I want to know. What are your thoughts on the NCR?
The new California Republic's got the most power in Nevada. Money, troops, you name it. They do what they can to keep things safe in the region. But if you ask me, they're trying to do too much. They're spread too thin.
And she's exactly right when she says that. Why do you think the NCR and the Legion both want the dam?
I'm pretty sure the NCR wants to hold on to the dam because it's one of the few places around that can make electricity. The Legion are a bunch of savages, though. No idea why they'd want the dam. Probably plan on destroying it or something. Slavers, killers, and all other kinds of trouble. They dress up like Roman soldiers, so there's no mistaking it when you see them. The rumor is that the Legion is far larger than the NCR lets on, and that it's been due to luck that the Legion hasn't overrun the territory.
So far, we've been given biased opinions only. We'll find out more later. Anyways, what do you have for sale?
I'm sure I've got something you like.
She has a decent selection of alcohol and purified water. After browsing through her inventory, we can take a look at her broken radio.
Sure, the outside looks okay, but I think something broke on the inside. There'd be caps in it for you. I do like to hear what's going on in the world. And that Mr. New Vegas seems like such a gentleman.
Mr. New Vegas, huh? Well, bye, Trudy. I'll go take a look at your radio for you. We can head over to the radio and check it out. We need a repair skill of 20 or greater to repair it, so I think I can handle this one. Repairing it, we hear that it immediately turned on, but for the sake of copyright, I'll turn it off and walk away. Heading back to Trudy.
Feeling thirsty? I can take care of that.
Hey, I fixed your radio.
Yeah, I heard it turn right back on after you got done tinkering with it. Here's some caps for the work.
50 caps? Are you serious? Are you implying that I've done shoddy work?
Not at all. I'm never sure how much is normally charged for this sort of thing. Here's some additional caps. That should be enough. Now, how about spending some of those caps in the saloon?
We successfully managed to extort 25 more bottle caps from her. We're gonna head out and explore the rest of the town, see if we can meet some of the town folk. We still have yet to meet Chet, the owner of the Goodsprings General Store. So going outside and heading there, we can talk with him. We can ask him a lot of questions, but first I want to know what's going on with the powder gangers, so can you tell me?
If Ringo doesn't head out on his own, I think we should hand him over. The town shouldn't get itself mixed into the problem. Don't mistake that for coward talk, though. We're a town of survivors. We'll fight tooth and nail if pushed, but we don't go looking for trouble.
We learn a lot about Goodsprings here. But do you know anything about the people who attacked me?
The leader was a New Vegas type. Typical city boy. He had a bunch of Great Khans with him, probably hired guns. The Great Khans normally stay in their own territory way up northwest, on account of them being enemies with the NCR.
What's so bad about the surplus ammo?
It's all about quantity over quality. Trouble is, you'll be cleaning and fixing your gun a lot more than usual when you use those kind of bullets.
Fair enough. Tell me about mods and ammo.
Weapon mods are things like silencers, scopes, bigger magazines. Special ammo includes things like armor-piercing bullets, which don't hurt the target as much, but let you punch through armor easier. There's also hollow point bullets, which have the opposite effect. You can kill unarmored targets easier, but they don't do shit against armor.
Huh. Well, have you ever been to New Vegas?
Twice. Both times I drank a lot of liquor and lost most of my caps at the card tables. In that order, now that I think about it. If you ever get to New Vegas, be sure to visit Gomorrah. It's the best casino in the city. You won't regret it. Word of advice, behave. Between the NCR military police and Mr. House's robots, you don't want to be causing trouble on the Strip.
Mr. House? Can you tell me about him?
I'm afraid I don't know much myself. Mr. House has got his own casino, Lucky 38, but nobody goes in or out except his robots. The other casinos follow Mr. House's rules, so I guess that makes him the leader of New Vegas. As far as I know, nobody's ever laid eyes on the guy. I think that robot who pulled you out of the dirt belongs to Mr. House. If Mr. House is looking after you, it's got to be a good thing, right?
Yeah, sure. So tell me about the Great Khans.
They're tough sons of bitches. Mean, but not crazy. They'll leave you alone unless you got something they want. The Great Khans deal in illegal chems. There's a good chance that most chems you come across were made by Great Khans.
Drug dealers, huh? Show me what you have for sale.
Can do.
He has one of the best inventories for shopping in the early game. He contains a variety of cards for playing Caravan, weapons, ammo, and all types of armor. After looking through his inventory, we can say goodbye.
Take it easy now.
From there, we'll head somewhere else now. We head up to the old Poseidon Energy gas station up the hill so we can meet Ringo for the first time, but as we approach...
That's close enough. Who are you, and what do you want with me?
In an attempt to avoid conflict, I tell him I'm not an enemy.
Sorry about the gun. You just caught me off guard, that's all. We got off to a bad start. Let's say we start over with a friendly game of Caravan. You know how to play?
On the topic of Caravan, I'll make another video and tutorial on how to play. But did you know there's a man named Joe looking for you?
Yeah. He doesn't look very tough, though. I hear he's afraid I'll shoot him down from one of the windows when I see him. And he's right. I'll have a much bigger problem once his friends show up. There's no way I could handle all of them in a gunfight.
Well, why are they after you in the first place? Did you do something wrong?
My Caravan was on the return trip from California and heading back to the company branch in New Vegas when we got jumped. Not even a drop your weapons and hands up before the bullets started flying. We put up a good fight, but there was too many of them. I took a few of the bandits down before I ran, so I figured their friends are out for revenge.
Huh, well in the meantime, what do you do around here?
Oh, sorry. I thought everybody knew already. I'm a trader with the Crimson Caravan Company. I'm, staying in town for a bit.
I see.
Did you want something else?
Can you tell me anything about Goodsprings?
I've never stopped here until recently. You're better off asking one of the locals.
You said you worked for the Crimson Caravan Company. Can you tell me more about them?
It's been in business for a very long time, and it's probably the biggest trading outfit in California. There's a branch up in New Vegas, but it hasn't been doing so well. Word is that the big boss herself, Alice McLafferty, is coming in to fix things.
She sounds important. He can tell me how to play Caravan, but like I said, that's for another video for another day. Now let's ask him about the Powder Ganger situation. What are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna lay low for as long as I can, assuming the town doesn't throw me to the wolves. I've got no chance against the gang on my own.
Hey, well, I've been through a lot. Maybe I can help you out.
We'd just end up sharing the same grave if it's just the two of us. Now, if some of the other people in town were also on board...
Ah, I see where he's going with this. I'll ask around town and see who I can round up. Maybe that'll help our chances.
Start with Sunny Smiles. She's been friendlier than most around here.
Sounds good, so with that out of the way, we can turn around and head back into town to talk to Sunny Smiles.
Howdy. Hi there. Sticking around Goodsprings for a while longer?
I'm gonna help Ringo take on the Powder Gangers. I might need your help.
Say no more. I'm in.
We have the option to be rude here, but for now I'll say, well, that was easy.
Joe Cobb talks about leaving us alone if we hand over Ringo. But I know his type. He and his friends will come after the town eventually. However, between you, me, and Ringo, we aren't exactly a force to be reckoned with. A lot of people around here look up to Trudy. If you could convince Trudy to join us, some of the folks in town might decide to help out as well. I know Easy Pete's got a stock of dynamite somewhere, and Chet just got a shipment of leather armor we could borrow. Talk to them as well. Finally, there's a good chance we'll all end up with extra holes in us. So if Doc Mitchell could cough up some extra stim packs, That'd be great.
Any ideas on how to convince Trudy to join us?
A silver tongue would help. Convincing Trudy that we had a good plan to win the fight would also help.
What about Chet? Would he be willing to give us his supplies?
I don't think give is in Chet's vocabulary. Even with the town at stake, he'd still make you barter with him.
Okay, well, what about Easy Pete? Anything I can do for that?
Easy Pete's pretty protective of his dynamite. You'd have to convince him you know a thing or two about explosives before you handed it over.
With that over with, we can head out and get the town folk
waiting.
on our side and get the materials we need to defeat the powder gangers in Goodsprings.
So you're planning on taking on Joe Cobb's gang. It's a big risk, but I suppose you have to do what you think is right.
I headed to talk to Trudy first. We have two options here. We can pass a 25 speech check, or we can pass a 25 sneak check. Unfortunately, my sneak wasn't high enough, so for now, I'll go with speech. You should help me take down the powder gang. You know, bullets, explosions, lots of fun.
I was planning on sitting this one out, but for some reason, I can't help but like you. I'm with you. Let me have a word with a few other folks, and I'll see if I can't round up some more members for this militia you're creating. While everyone does own a gun, we could stand to be a little better equipped. The general store probably has what we need in stock.
With Trudy on our side, we can head out to talk to Easy Pete next. Hopefully he'll hand over the dynamite.
Howdy.
Before asking him, we can say, what do you know about Joe Cobb?
Bad trouble.
Yeah, that's helpful, I guess.
Welcome.
I hear you've got dynamite. It would help us beat the powder gangers, you know, if we could get our hands on it.
Too dangerous. Wanna kill all yourselves if I let you touch it. Better to leave it buried. Safer that way.
I'm familiar with the care and handling of explosives, dynamite included.
Uh-huh. Guess you know what you're doing. I'll go dig it up and get it ready. You'll have it by the time the fighting starts. Yup.
Next, we'll head over to the general store to talk with Chet and see if there's anything he can do to help us out.
You looking to buy some supplies?
Yeah, I need supplies to fight the powder gangers, and so does the entire town, so...
Now just hold on. I never voted to take on the powder gangers. That's a 1,000-cap investment you're talking about.
Let them take over the town then. I'm sure your business will be much better off.
You made your point. I can provide people with some leather armor and extra ammo. Sure hope it's worth it. And, I'll be guarding the store while all this is going on. I have to put my business first. You understand.
Coward. Next, I went up to Doc Mitchell's house and decided to try and have a talk with him. So let's go say hi.
Welcome back. I had hoped you wouldn't need to come see me again so soon. What can I do for you?
The town's gonna be attacked by bandits. We need medical supplies. Anything you can do for us?
Seems like wherever I go, it's always the same. Folks just never leave each other alone. Oh, I'm not much good in a fight with my bum leg. And my supplies are scarce, but I'll give you what I can spare.
Thanks, Doc. I appreciate it.
You take care now.
With everyone on board, we can go talk to Ringo and let him know the plan.
So what's going on? Did Sonny agree to help us?
Sonny's with us.
Well, I guess that means we're ready to go. Unless you think there's something else you can do.
No, not really. Let's do this.
All right, I'm ready. I hope.
But suddenly...
Time to look alive. The powder gangers are here to play.
Well, where's Trudy and everyone else then?
They're getting set up in cover, but it might not go well unless we get out there soon.
Can you tell me how many there are at least?
At least 6. Joe Cobb included. They look pretty mean.
I can't say I'm not a little nervous, but I'm confident. Let's go.
Oh, Easy Pete came through with the dynamite. Here's your supply. I really hope I don't blow myself up. I'll be set up near the store. Let's hope that the gang doesn't manage to make it that far.
And with that, we're going to end this episode of the full story of Fallout New Vegas. This time, I'll be doing a Legion playthrough, so stick around and see what happens next. Will we win the battle? Will Goodsprings be taken over? Find out tomorrow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this series, I would appreciate a little support by hitting that like button. Otherwise, I will see you in our next video.